everybody can hear me because we had some technical problems. So maybe if one person could nod their head, that would be great. Thank you very much. All right, well, first of all, welcome. We did have some technical difficulties, which we shouldn't have, but I can see quite a few of you. Apparently there's 150 people on, can everybody hear me? Thank you. Okay. Apparently there's 150 people. My name's Stephen Brown, the CEO of Cybernetic Technologies, HPIL. I am glad that you're joining me today so I can get some things squared away. I'm kind of going to do this on a very informal basis as if I'm sitting at the kitchen table, because I've got quite a few emails here, which some of them are duplicates, but I'm going to run through them, not necessarily quickly, but at least so I can don't duplicate too much. But before I do that, I want to get a couple of things, not necessarily off my chest, but maybe, and that is this, because there's been, well, let me back up here. I'm 64 years old, married 25 years, 2 children, been in the entertainment business for quite a long time. I've got somebody putting up their thumbs. Does that mean you cannot hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, well, somebody's, okay. Anyway, been in the entertainment business for over 30 years. In the late 90s, and I think some of you have already done your due diligence, in the late 90s, I created the first music video streaming company for the music industry in partnership with Sony, Warner Brothers, EMI, many others. And the reason I'm saying that is, in the dot-com days, that was my first venture into the public market. Not for the faint at heart, obviously, and many things have changed since then. I started with 3 employees. Through a mutual attorney friend of mine, I took it public on the dot-com days, raised $100 million on Wall Street, and had a very successful company that went from 3 employees to 150 and a $500 million market cap. That was my entry into the public market. 2004, the dot-com bubble was bursting. I sold my company to Clear Channel and went back into developing television, film, and music projects. Had not been involved in the public market up until just a couple of years ago. I'm originally from England. We moved to Canada in 1972 when I was a kid. In my early 20s, I escaped to America from Saskatchewan to be in the music industry, and I have been there, as I just said, for many, many years. Moved back to Vancouver. Told my wife it was the most beautiful city in North America. And I moved back to Vancouver approximately 3.5 years ago. Got involved in a public company.
Dave?
Hello?
Can you help me figure out how to get the sound working?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, so I... sorry for that interruption. So
Honey, I got...
I've been involved in the entertainment industry. Okay,
Cohen, please stop talking.
Steve Cohen, please stop talking. Mute your mic. You're interrupting.
You can mute everyone. If you're a host, you can just
that would be great. Thank you very much. I actually wasn't expecting this big of an audience, but I guess that's great. So anyway, I have involved in an entertainment company, Appreciated Media. Don't want to go too much into it. It's public knowledge. Took over another public shell, formed my own company, Crank Media, which we've now been around for about 6 months. Symbol is CRKM, and that's kind of where I wanted to start by saying Crank Media has nothing to do with HPIL, contrary to everybody's postings and belief. Other than I am the president of both companies. So that's been somewhat of a misconception. I I was passed on this company, which I really, really didn't want to do, because being the CEO of one public company is quite the chore and very testing. Being the two is just double the trouble, obviously. Let alone this company, who I'd met, the gentleman who was involved with it, and it had introduced me to Angela Collette, who was the administrator for this company. Probably majority of you people would know that. Was pretty dormant, apparently, for around a year and a half, I think. He passed on to me, said, listen, you've got lots of great ideas. Would you be interested in taking it over? So I crazily, and at the advice of my wife, don't do it, I took it over. And as everybody knows, it's only been a couple of months. I'm very involved in the future of what's going on in the technology world, artificial intelligence, and many, many other things. And as some of you have obviously read now, venturing into the NFT market, because it parallels a lot of my relationships in the media world. I'm not big on these type of things. As you can obviously see, I don't do it very often, very rarely. I've done the many things on Wall Street back in the early 2000s and doing all the road shows and stuff. And I learned the hard way that if I'm trying to please everybody, it just won't work. And I did something that I swore I wouldn't do, because I used to do this in the late 90s, as I said, and that is read the proverbial chat rooms. It'll either get you divorced or it'll drive you crazy, or both. But I did that with HPIL. Somebody said to me, check out this Investor Hub and a couple of others. And I did. So I wrote down a couple of things, and it's really just to set whatever people are on those chat rooms straight. And I've already said one. Crank Media has nothing to do with HPIL. They're both standalone companies and have nothing to do with each other. I'm a believer, like it or not. I'm not a stock play. I build companies. I love building companies. I have enough relationships, and as you can somewhat see, I brought them on board by bringing over, for example, David Postula, who, if you read his resume, which is right on the website, I build the company, and the old saying of build it and they will come. And that's what I'm capable of doing. I'm not a stock promoter. Understand it a little bit. Don't want to really understand it because, again, it'll drive you crazy. So that's what I'm doing with this company. I brought in the NFT procurement, as you guys have seen from the press release. I have many of other concepts and projects that I'm working on that are up my sleeve, but I'm leaving those right now until I straighten this company out, which leads me to the next thing, as I put in the press release. I have filed necessary documents to start bringing this company current. I reached out to the prior auditors who have now come on board, and the last audit, I think, was 2017, I believe, and we're bringing it current. I'm at the mercy of auditors, which I've been through before. I'm at the mercy of the OTC. I'm at the mercy of FINRA, although the name I was able to change along with the state of Wyoming. It was previously a Nevada corporation, and they moved it to Wyoming. I'm not sure why, but it is. I, on purpose, did not change the symbol. And I don't have a plan on changing the symbol until we're back on the QBs. So however long that's going to take me, then that's when the symbol will change, when it has a reason to change. Let me see something here. Well, I've already told you that my plan are to bring in as many assets that fit, in some cases, hand in hand, and build the company. You're not going to see that many changes until I get onto the QB and clean this up, and especially getting off the dark pinks, which is murderous, which we have to be off by September, which I can promise you that will be the case. jump over to it's like a war and peace questions here from the different emails I've got, and I will spare everybody from reading out their names. So some people are asking me why I don't own any shares in HPIL. And that's because I'm not due any shares yet until I bring in what I'm going to bring in. And that's how I'm going to get my shares when we start building the company. I'm okay with that. That should prove my point. It's not a negative, it's a positive. Matter of fact, to take it a step further, whatever money is being spent in HPIL right now, whether it be the legal fees, the accounting fees, the auditing fees, the fees to do the NFTs, I am putting that money in personally. And that's what I'm doing. And that's my commitment to the company. So luckily I have enough, what's the word I'm looking for? Conviction myself that I'll be able to do what is necessary. And somebody here, out of the 7 subsidiaries, any chance we get a spin up? Well, this company doesn't have any subsidiaries. It had whatever it had with all these baseball things, and I don't even know what it is. But there are no subsidiaries. The only thing in HPIL right now is the NFT procurement, which to me is very substantial, just to begin with. And again, that's just the beginning. So whatever these subsidiaries were before, and I don't want to get too much detail, but the previous people, directors, CEOs that were involved with this company, I don't think they knew what the hell they were doing, I guess, basically. Somebody brought in here, and which I saw in the chat room, about the authorized shares. And some people saw it as a negative that I reduced it from 200 billion to 60 billion. When I took over the company, the 200 billion was already there. Somebody, I'm not even sure when it was, I'd have to look, but somebody had increased it from 18 billion to 200 billion. I put it down to 60 billion with acquisitions in mind. There are many ways of acquiring acquisitions. I agree with everybody. That's way too many. But I'm not sure where we're at yet on acquisitions and many other things. So I almost did it to appease the chat rooms, which I shouldn't say, but I dropped it down, and I'll be reevaluating them on an ongoing basis. Somebody said about the naked shorting. I don't get involved in that stuff. I build companies. Having said that, they suggested getting a NOBA report, which I was doing anyway, and that's mainly because I wanted to see who really is involved in this company. And we've ordered that, and I'm hoping to get it by the middle of next week, and that will give me a little bit of a better perspective on where we stand there. Well, this is about the previous ownership. Again, it's all about the authorized shares, which I explained to you guys where I stand on that. Beside the NFTs, which is pure speculative, I guess that is case, but there's some pretty substantial things happening in that world right now. So I feel good about what I did there. When I told you I'm doing it like I'm sitting at the kitchen table, I really meant that. So I'm not your typical stock guy, as I said. That way, if you own no shares, how do you profit? I profit by building the company. And as you can obviously tell by me looking, there are many, many duplicative questions, almost all the same. One of them is where do I see Cyber? And I'm going to open it up. I guess it might be a little crazy if I do that later, but Where does Cybernetic see in 5 years? I don't have a 5-year plan. My plans are 6 months, if maximum right now, and for the obvious reason. So that's it. Somebody sent in, retire 99% of the approved shares. Can't do that, but I think we'll be retiring quite a few more in the near future. Are there any plans for reverse split, reverse merger? The answer is no, because I don't know where this is all going to land right now. So, if I do anything, it'll be for the right reason. And it's easy for me to say this, but for the benefit of the company and the shareholders. So I do not have any plans right now. Are there any plans to uplist to the NASDAQ in the near future? Of course there is. That's what I'm doing. How will NFTs be purchased and sold? Well, so we had put a deal together with Origin Protocol, which everybody is, or majority of people have done some checking on. And it's a very unique platform. Many of the NFT platforms out there right now are like mixed auctions. So you're not just one auction out there. You're in the middle of it with a whole bunch of other people. And what Origin Protocol are doing are where you can actually have dedicated auctions. And that's something I really like because of the type of NFTs that we'll be putting out there and the type of high profile NFTs. So that's something, let alone I believe they're the best. Ironically, one of the investors and co-founders, and definitely investor, is a gentleman from a company called Untitled Technologies. And when I launched the first music video streaming company called VidNet, I was Untitled Technologies' second client. This is now approximately 22, 23 years ago. And just for fun comment, my streaming cost of about 5 million music videos per month, which seemed a hell of a lot then, which is minuscule now, was over $175,000 a month. I think I could stream that right now for a couple of grand a month. But that's. But anyway, he's a large investor in Origin Protocol, as are many others, as I'm sure you saw the co-founder, one of the co-founders of YouTube, and many other great people involved in that company. Somebody brought up that there was a preferred block of shares in the company. There was. That is no longer. There's only common shares. There are no outstanding preferred shares. I know this is not a great answer, and everybody, what is your business model and plan? And I don't have one yet, other than I am approaching many different avenues within the realm of new technology and artificial intelligence and those type of things. It's something that intrigues me. I'm open to other areas of what's happening in the technology world. There's some automobile technology that I'm looking at, and many things. I find it, I'm really going to use it as quite the incubator, to be bluntly honest with you. And I just remembered that word, but that really is what I'm using it as right now, as an incubator. So don't be surprised if all of a sudden we're competing with Tesla, so to speak. Not quite, but anyway, my business model is to get it completely compliant and trading. If I don't do that, then really doesn't mean anything. And that's one thing I am going to do and am doing. Everybody wants to know about reverse split. Not in my mind at anywhere close right now. It's all to do with, are you going to be on the NASDAQ? What is your plans? You can obviously tell I've not read one of these pages. I'm so busy. And I actually didn't want to, for a reason. I really wanted this to be almost like a chat room, excuse the expression, kind of back and forth. So if it sounds like I'm unorganized, I'm not. But I just wanted to do it that way. There's some great shareholders in this company. I must be honest with you. I wish I had shareholders like this before. There is some great shareholders. And then there's obviously some people with other ulterior motives. When I start getting, emails like this, please give another update soon. People are starting to jump ship. The minute I start buying into those programs, then I'm in trouble. I'll do updates, and I'll do things like this once a month for the next while till everybody realizes what's going on. But the jumping ship, let them. If they jump ship, they jump ship. I can't do anything about that. The other thing is what I brought up just a little bit earlier. Comes September 28th with the new rules. You're in the dark pinks. They can start kicking everybody off that board. That won't be the case with us. So that's one thing I can promise with you.
Keep it right here all the time. You won't have to move very fast.
It's Eric, by the way, if you want to kick him.
I was curious if you guys plan on putting financials and getting current soon. Absolutely. So MNP was the auditing firm prior to me coming on board, and I've engaged in them coming back because they had all the documents. So they're the ones that are working with us on bringing the company compliant both financially with all the different filings.
I know that Judy has a couple of things up here.
A lot of stuff on NFTs and protocol. There's a lot of research anybody can do on the NFTs. By the way, NFTs have been around for, I want to say, 7 to 10 years. It's just that it's now resurfaced with the new digital platform. So, it's very interesting. I educate myself a lot on these type of things. What I don't know, I find out. I read a lot of trade publications, and I educate myself that way.
Yeah, I wish you might have started like push or something like that.
Again, the same questions. Do you plan on issuing new shares? Do you plan on reversing splits? And the answer is no.
This is dumb.
I don't have a 5-year plan.
Hey, Stephen,
Yes.
you have the ability to mute everybody. These guys aren't listening. So at the top of your screen, you have an option to mute everybody.
You know what? I tried that earlier, but it didn't work. But let's go here now.
Yeah, more people joined. You might have to do it again.
Yeah, I think if we can mute that would be great.
Or you could just kick that person off.
It's Eric, by the way.
Yeah, okay. I don't see that. Yeah, all right, it's fine, guys. It's fine. I can get it.
It's super sour. It's
I'm obviously, I mean, as much as I'd like to share all the great things that I do have in my mind, and actually what I'm pursuing, because I can't say things that are until they are posted and put out in the public arena. So, I really just wanted to do this to let you all know that I'm doing what I say I do, and what I'm doing. Sorry, and that is bringing the company compliant, and that's quite the chore, but it is being done.
Why don't you ask those people to stop talking?
Yeah. See. Yeah. Okay. Well, I wrote down something here in regards to that. They're the same type of people that are in the chat room. I can't remember, but it was some of the chat rooms people that are in there. It's relevant to their behavior in the market. I did want to say one thing in regards to the NFTs. So my creative guys coming. Can you mute them?
Mute Eric TSE.
Okay, well, if I want to bring them back on, how would I do that? Click on where?
Right there.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Okay. All right. Somebody trying to sell me advertising. Quite a few people trying to sell me advertising. Yeah, a lot of this is really very duplicated about share structure, the outstanding shares. I've spoken quite a bit about the NFTs. I can assure you there are many other projects in the works that are going to come to fruition very soon. I'm hoping to have an update in regards to the OTC by the middle of next week. I will be keeping everybody up to date on that because I know that's a crucial thing for everybody. Listen, leadership is very important. I always in my career have attempted to surround myself with great people, and that's what I'm going to be doing here. And with HPIL. Again, naked shorting. I'm not even sure what that means. Does that mean you're naked while you're shorting? I'm not sure. I'm joking. Yeah, when people are asking me that they're concerned about how the stock is trading, I'm not sure what I would do about that, because to me, when the company is built and it's working, that I don't want to say it goes away, but it definitely changes things. I do have a couple of things I'm going to say when I finished here, and I'm down to the last 2 or 3 here. And again, they are all very much, the questions are all the same. All right, so a couple of things. About the company, what I got into when I came here, and I saw some of these questions, and that was that they're about convertible notes that were in the company, because this thing got milked like a dairy farmer in Saskatchewan. Before I came on, I want to say there was convertible notes that, considerable amount of convertible notes anyway. Those convertible notes have all been converted, so that almost converted, I should say, 90% converted. So those are it's sitting as it sits right now. I simply brought it down to 60 billion, as I said, a conversation piece, but yet to prove that I'm not some guy coming in and keeping 200 billion shares out there, and so hopefully, some people took it the wrong way. All right, let me do this. Let me unmute, and if we can somewhat attempt to let people ask questions, and of course I've got to help. Alberto, can you come and unmute it right now? So just so if anybody's keeping tabs, there are 287 participants. That's just a pretty popular company. That's pretty amazing. Can you unmute it? So I'm going to see if anybody, I don't know how I'm going to do this with that many people, but I'm going to attempt to do it. So. All right, you guys can unmute yourselves, and if we can take a wild, crazy shot at it, if anybody has any questions.
Mr. Brown,
Yeah.
So you had mentioned that Crank Media is separate from HPIL, but with the report out there, is HPIL still looking to consider acquiring Crank Virtual, and is that separate?
So first of all, I can't comment on that right now because that's still under discussion. So that's where that stands on it. It's still under discussions. So right now it's not a part of HPIL.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Are there any celebrity endorsements at the moment?
They will be announced starting next week. So that's what I wanted to bring up. So the NFT domains that were with the NFT procurement, those are all acquired domains. And many of the domains are in discussions right now with many of those celebrities or television shows or movies or whatever. And you should be seeing those announcements very shortly. And again, they will be through Origin Protocol.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Hi, it's Teddy. I was wondering, how can we as shareholders best support you and best support your vision to get to the QB?
I don't need any of that support because that takes filings and financial support in regards to accountants and lawyers and such, and I am doing that. 99% of the chat rooms, which I'm going to try and cut back because it gets a little addictive. It's almost like a reality show, which I've done before. But anyway, so that's one of the reasons I enjoy it. But anyway, I think by simply the majority are doing all that already. And that's obvious by having 200 and some participants. So I thank you. Whoever is people have called me before, and as long as it doesn't go too crazy, I'm open to a telephone call at any time. But again, I can only give so much information, because of security rule, SEC rules.
So, Mr. Brown, so your plans are going to be, 6 months at a time or yearly or what?
Right. So after we are on, first of all, after we're off of the dark pinks, which that's relatively, I'm hoping, in the next week, and then up onto the pinks, so really we've escaped that September issue. I'm a firm believer of short-term and long-term. I just don't think this company is able to give that yet. And please don't take that as if my incompetence is quite the opposite. I'm doing it the right way. So once we get on the QB, you will be seeing projections, reports, all the necessary things that a proper company does.
Okay, thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Mr. Brown, this is Greg Coss. I'm assuming this would pertain also to the terms of the partnership with the Origin Protocol, as far as how the cost sharing goes for the production, the minting of the NFTs, and then the subsequent sales, how those revenues are split. That would be something we'd find out at a later time.
Well, first of all, yes, but you would find that out actually at the time of the NFT. Because every celebrity, like any deal, will be different. The splits, that is. So I can, that's all in the negotiation between the celebrity and myself. In regards to the Origin Protocol, that is a fixed fee that that they charge for using their platform.
Mr. Brown?
Yeah. Thank you.
Mr. Brown, can you, hello, can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, can you please tell me about the role of David Postula and how he's going to basically be working on this?
So I've known David for about a little over a year right now. If you read his resume, he comes pretty well equipped and experienced. And I am going to let David be the president. Well, he is the president of the company, but I'm going to let him run the company, and I will be supporting David in his running of the company, I guess.
Mr. Brown, just a quick question. In regards to David, now when are us as shareholders, I guess, going to hear from him?
He wanted to join us today, and I said no, because as you can see, I took this meeting just so that everybody could get a feel that to meet me and what my plans are, which are pretty simple, as I said. So you will be hearing him on the next meeting. He's chomping at the bit to come on board. And let me finish here. And I plan on doing a much more organized presentation within the next 30 days.
Awesome.
With David Postula on the presentation.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
So you talked about reducing authorized shares. Now, what about outstanding shares? Some people are asking in the chat here. Is there any plans to reduce them?
Well, I've already said I have no plans on reversing the stock, and that would be the only way of reducing it. I can't control other people's shares that are already out there.
Mr. Brown, I think what some people were referring to is, have you considered, or is it being discussed at all to do a share buyback with the current prices where they are?
No. And again, the reason why is I only have one thing in goal, one goal, to get it compliant. That's enough work for me right now, and that's what you need me to do. Everything else, I don't want to say it's irrelevant, because it's not, but I'm doing it in steps, and that's all I can do. Again, let me repeat myself. I've only had this for 2 months. I've been hit upside the head like you can't imagine. And but I will accomplish it. And I've done it before, and I'm capable of doing it. You got to give me the time to do it. I will keep everybody, informed as much as I can. And that's my answer.
Mr. Brown, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I have a question regarding the real estate marketplace and the.
I love the aquarium, by the way. Is that actually in the house or no?
No, it's no. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. I'm curious regarding the NFT usage in the virtual reality marketplace for real estate and crypto buying real estate in the virtual entity. And then also I'm noticing that you're talking about building a shopping mall. Are you talking about possibly having virtual products scanned to bring into that marketplace? Or are you talking about doing like virtual walkthroughs in 360 in the real estate marketplace? Or talking about virtual real estate, people are purchasing virtual real estate like similar to decentralized and things of that nature? Or
so first of all, you didn't hear me saying about building virtual. That is Frank virtual, and that transaction has not happened yet. I can't comment. That's that.
So regarding your real estate, the real estate marketplace, or your partnerships there with some of the other organizations that do that, is there relationships there you can comment on or no?
I'm sorry for just repeating myself over and over, but
all right, my bad.
I'm not the Crank virtual situation. First of all, I'm not at liberty to discuss under certain contracts. But again, it's not in play unless any transaction was over here. But anyway, I think you get the gist of it regarding the
I'm a professor.
An LOI was signed, no transaction have taken place. So I don't.
Yeah, we'll do statements. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
How soon do you foresee an NFT trading, whether it be a celebrity or an athlete or musician? You think in the next
the way that it's
3 to 6
looking right
months?
now, you will see it in the month of June, and more than one.
Good afternoon, George. Just want to say thank you on behalf of all of the shareholders for your time here today. I mean, there's nothing that held you to coming in and doing this here today, but when it comes down to the NFTs and the prospects of different verticals that we can get into, whether that be sports, entertainment, the different aspects that all these other companies are looking at from an artistic perspective, other than celebrities and athletes, is there any other verticals that you're looking into?
Well, I'm looking into film and television. If you looked at, if you looked at when I put the domains in there, we've acquired quite a few since then. We have NFT Game of Thrones, we have NFT Marilyn Monroe, which I don't think you saw in that last presentation. I'm looking at every vertical, absolutely. By the way, it's Stephen, not George, but. Paul, can you hear me?
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm just saying my name is Stephen, not George.
Oh, I apologize.
That's all right. No
Did I get on the
problem.
wrong investor call?
Not a problem. I can go by George if necessary, but it's Stephen.
No, we appreciate the time here today,
No
Stephen.
problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Hey, Stephen, quick question. So on the current speed, when do you think, as an estimation, when we would probably be on the NASDAQ? I know it's a crazy question, but what do you estimate?
I don't want to be held to anything. I am pushing it as hard as possible. I bug the living, what out of them every couple of days. You can probably appreciate this. Even at the Securities Exchange Commission, they're not working out of their offices still. They're working at home. So I'm hoping over the next couple of weeks I've got some good results for you.
Oh, wow. That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the hard work.
Let me respond a little bit further, because I know I planned on within 30 days. I meant the filings, of which have occurred. They occurred over 2 weeks ago. So now I just have to keep banging with my baseball bat, and that's what I'm doing.
Now, what's the minimum, stock price to be on NASDAQ?
So to be on the QB, it's got to be, there's a couple of different criteria you can go by. One is you've got to have 10% of the float in the open market, which...
Yeah. And do you want me to, if someone comes to speak, should I give him for rent and all that? And I'll call you later.
Sorry, say that again?
I think there are other people that are speaking, but if you could repeat what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. So there's two ways. One is 10% of the float, I think, on the QB if you're at a penny. But again, then you've got to have a market cap of $5 million or more.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Which luckily with HPIL, we cover both.
It's okay, I'll sell his house and everything.
Okay, so we could probably see it in the near future.
In the very near future, yes, I agree.
Nice. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Okay. I'm listening.
At our current price, which today I think is 0.0034, what do you think would be an appropriate market cap based on what we have already?
Built for business with Windows 10 Pro.
I have no idea.
Jason Smith, can you please mute your microphone? Jason Smith.
Boost productivity. Plus enjoy free shipping on everything.
Hey, Stephen.
Yes.
Question for you. So I spoke with you on the phone a few months back.
Yes, Danny.
As many. You did mention to me in the beginning, though, that you did want to change the ticker right away. And then in the beginning of this Zoom, I heard you say you don't have plans to change the ticker. So I just want to elaborate on that.
Well, first of all, you're right. I did say that. And then after having conversations with, both my attorney, but more specifically with some investment bankers, I took some suggestions. And if I was to change the ticker, then I could potentially lose people taking a look at the company. So I did do the name change, as you know, and I've decided I made a different decision. I made a decision to keep HPIL until we're on the QB, and then we'll change everything at that point. I have reserved, let me say this, I have reserved the ticker of CYBT.
Thank you for that update. That was great.
Thanks.
Oh, you got a new kitchen thing?
Hey guys, if you guys don't mind, if you're not speaking, can you please mute your microphones just so we can give the respect to Stephen and also everyone else that has a question. Thank you.
Any other questions, guys?
Mr. Brown, I got a question.
Okay.
You referenced the silos of technology and looking at innovative technology in the new digital realm. Do you intend to keep a siloed focus where you are excluding out certain technologies, or is it fairly open? And then are you looking at existing technologies, or are you looking at truly innovative startup based?
So I'm not looking at truly innovative startup base, at least not right now. That's not in my head. I am working with many different technologies that are cutting edge. They may have already been started. Yeah, that's my answer. I'm looking at technologies that is currently available, or technologies that could intertwine with other technologies that come up with new concepts. But yeah, I'm not starting new technologies myself.
Mr. Brown, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the call. I'm very appreciative of your time. With Appreciated Media, I know that you said that there was publicly available information about that. I just have a very basic question. Not to, and I have full faith in you and everything like that, but when Appreciated Media, there was positive PR all the way kind of through that until the last PR hit, and 1 month later, we had, I think there was a fallout with an auditor and these sorts of things with the stock resulting in a stop trade. So was it the COVID, or can you speak to that shift at all?
I can. First of all, it was not the COVID. Okay. Secondly, the only thing I really can speak about is what's in the public market, and you can pull it up on the SEC. You can pull it up on all the press releases. I brought in all of my assets, and there was some people involved with the company that did not that I wasn't that happy with and did not feel comfortable, and I moved on.
I understand.
You can Google my name all day long and you won't find anything negative, so I decided to move on.
Did Brooke Hogan decide to go with someone else, or just asking?
I don't know. You should ask Brooke.
Okay.
Well, first of all, again, another thing, people are thinking that Brooke Hogan and Hulk Hogan's on HPIL. That's not true. Okay, I don't know how I should hire them to create TV shows, because that's just simply not true. Brooke Hogan is alive and well, and so is Mr. Hogan. Hulk, that is.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Could I have you circle back to the question that Mark asked about the uplisting to the NASDAQ? There was just a lot of noise. I couldn't really hear exactly what you said.
Well, as I was saying to Mark, I've made all the filings, both on the OTC and FINRA. I am working with the previous auditors, which are obviously crucial because I need to bring it compliant. And I'm doing it as fast as I can, and I'm doing it aggressively. That's really it. It will get on there. I could get an email on Tuesday, and it could change things dramatically. So that's what I'm doing. But I've got all of the things in play.
He was asking about the NASDAQ, not the QB.
Yeah. Is this about the QB that you're speaking about?
Well, first of all, I'm talking about being compliant and just getting off the dark pinks to the pinks. Then the next step is going from the pinks to the QB. And absolutely, not my goal. I will get it to the QB, whether it's in 2 weeks from now, 60 days from. I have no idea. That I'm at the mercy of the OTC and the SEC. I can promise you, I'm doing everything possible. And on top of that, as you can well imagine, with this company, I've had to dig under a lot of rocks to find the information. So anyway, and I've done that. So.
Of course, yeah, I know that there's just a whole lot of craziness going on. So
I don't know how many of you have been in this company, but if you've been in HPIL for the past year, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. If you're new, then you didn't, there was a lot there. Let me just put it that way. I've been around a long time. It surprised the hell out of me too.
How many employees do you plan on having?
I have no idea. 150. 5. I don't know. Depends on how fast we grow. I'm very aggressive when it comes to growth, so I hope quite a few.
Mr. Brown, do you have any outstanding debt that you could talk about, or do we not have any at all?
There is one. There's money that I put in, but that's not really debt per se. There is. I know there is one that is on the books, and I guess this is public information from a lawsuit that the company had, and I want to say it's $100 and some thousand approximately, which you'll see on the books, and there's nothing I can do about it. I got stuck with it. I am in discussions. I'm in negotiations to reduce it, and it seems to be going quite well. And so,
okay,
that's
great.
it.
Thank you.
There's no other.
Are you looking at bringing in any private investors or investment bankers?
Absolutely, when it's right, and it's not right now. There is not an investment banker that would touch this right now. I'm not sure how many times I can say it. I'm bringing it fully compliant, and absolutely, I will take that traditional route. I have many relationships with investment bankers, especially in America, that I've had relationships with. I will be banging on those doors when it's time.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Brown, I just want to say, it's Teddy again. I just want to say how much we appreciate your vision, and we're hearing you, that you have to take this company in steps, and we know and we trust that we're headed there. So I just want to say thank you very much for all your hard work, and we are standing by ready for action.
I appreciate it. I appreciate that very much.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
What does the company have on its books right now in terms of debt?
I just answered that question. The only debt right now is there is a court document that I just actually got a few days ago that was $100 and some thousand that they were awarded because of the previous organization or whatever it was. I'm not sure what it was about as much. And I'm in negotiations with an attorney and I'm the one that went to them. They weren't chasing us down because I think a lot of people thought this company was dead as a doornail, to be bluntly honest with you. But so I reached out to them because that is the only debt, and I'm in negotiations to reduce it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Brown, I have one more quick question, and I apologize if I seem like I'm unaware of what's, the process typically, but I'm not typically having communications with CEOs and presidents and things. But I'm curious when I'm looking at investing. I have 1.3 million shares now, but I'm thinking, okay, vision wise, from what you said earlier, your vision currently is to bring the company current and then move forward in the 6-month time frame. Now I'm assuming to springboard from the NFT marketplace side of things onto future endeavors as an incubator. Or is that kind of what we're doing? We're starting from the NFT marketplace and then moving forward with the other ideas?
So the answer is no. We're not using the NFT as a springboard. That just happened to be something that I was dealing with prior, and I thought it would fit this company.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not using that as a springboard. I have a lot of relationships and ideas and concepts, and so do people around me, and so does David Postula, without a doubt, based on his background. It's just that I can't bring them to the forefront, and until because they take money, and until this company again becomes compliant.
And I
That's all right.
apologize.
Listen,
like I said,
no
I'm just
problem.
trying to understand the
Yep.
vision, as an entirety. That's all.
Yeah. I don't want to mislead anybody. So I think everybody knows that this company needs a lot of TLC, and that's what it's getting.
Yeah. I was just trying to figure out what ultimately we were going after.
I understand. Listen, next week you could hear that we did something dramatically different to NFTs.
I do want to say though, thank you because, for taking your time today. And obviously, from what you did in the last 2 months, it's incredible. And when you look at the OTC markets right now, it's, you've done a lot of stuff that, like if you look at this company, HPIL, the amount of quarterlies and yearlies that you have to do, it's pretty crazy, but
it is, that's for sure.
The shareholders do appreciate you massive. I appreciate you as a shareholder, and I just want to say thanks.
Thank you, Colton.
Mr. Brown, thank you for your move on reducing the authorized shares down. Just a question, I think you mentioned earlier in the call that you are prepared to reduce further in order to become compliant or bring the share price up. Is that something that you will continue to do to reduce the shares from 60 billion down if needed to go compliant to OTCB and then even further up if needed?
The answer is yeah. I think 60 billion shares is ridiculous. But as I said to you, it's like, I just had to do something. Finally, it's like me taking the garbage out. My wife finally yells loud enough, then I take the garbage out. So that's what I did with regards to the chat rooms and everything. It wasn't really indicative of a plan, but I thought, all right, well, I don't need 200 billion. I'll drop it down to 60 billion and let me figure out what's going on here. And maybe I'll appease a couple of people for a while. And that's what I did. And that's the truth. So if you think I had a plan, I didn't. I just reduced it.
Mr. Brown, we believe in you.
Thanks, MB.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time, man.
All right. Are we good, guys, or ladies? That is too. Ladies and then guys. Are we okay?
So does that mean that you're definitely going to reduce the authorized shares eventually? Because 60 billion is kind of ridiculous. I agree.
The answer to that question is yes.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Bruce. Thank
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right,
Also,
guys.
just really quickly,
Yes.
I just wanted to mention really quickly before we leave to everybody who's invested in the company. I'm pretty sure it's a lot more amazing things that's going to happen.
First of all, Devin, I like your hair. I like your hair. I don't have any of that. That hair, I like that hair.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
With the whole SEC thing, I know that it limits people, or CEOs of how much they can disclose. So I know it's a lot of great things, but not too many things that can be talked about due to SEC rules.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. It is limited because I don't need to hang up here and then all of a sudden I start getting a call from the SEC. So,
before you go, Mr. Brown, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I did the best I can, guys, and I think you'll be very pleased. And I'm available, and you'll be seeing many more of these, definitely within 30 days. So,
Hey, Stephen, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Could you do us a favor?
Stay on the moon.
To the moon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown.
I will do that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.